All right, let's go ahead and finish these last two problems. So find all the missing parts of this triangle. So the easiest thing to do is find that missing angle. So you just go on your calculator and type in 180 minus 82 minus 34. Gives me 64 degrees. And then we can use the law of sines. So here I have, that's what I'm going to use to create my ratio. And then we can figure out each one individually. So let me start with B. So B over sine of 34 is equal to 5.6 times sine of 64. Okay, multiply both sides by sine of 34. So I have 5.6 sine of 34 over sine of 64. And we can type it in and get our answer. Since they give me one decimal place, I'm going to use one decimal place. Remember in the homework, let me hide that. In the homework, it'll tell you what to round to. So 5.6 sine of 34 divided by sine of 64. So 3.5 centimeters. So we figured out that one. Now to figure out the last one, and I just use the same reference side with my new information. So here's 82 degrees, there's C. Again, because of space, shrink. All right, so this is exactly the same thing. It's going to be C over sine 82 is equal to 5.6 over sine 64. Multiply both sides by sine of 82. Sine of 82. And I got C is equal to 5.6 times sine of 82 over sine of 64. Why did I box that? I have no idea. And so we can type that in and get our answer. So everything's the same, so I'm going to hit second enter. The only thing that changes is it becomes, let's see, 64 or 5.6. This becomes 82. Yep. And so I get 6.2. There you go. Yay. So the homework has like 5 of these, just to drill it in to make sure that you know how to figure out all the sides of a triangle. Now we're going to go to this ugly last one, and learning from before, I'm going to try to write really small so I can fit everything in there. But a 155-foot antenna is on top of a tall building. From a point on the ground, the angle of elevation. So first, let me draw the picture. We have a building with a 155-foot antenna. Okay. And the angle of elevation from the top of the antenna, from a point on the ground to the top of the antenna, is 28.5. So here's the point on the ground, and they're saying that the angle of elevation is 28.5 degrees. All right. Let me try to finish the triangle off. I'll use green for grass. How about that? Okay. And the angle of elevation from the same point to the bottom of the antenna is 23.5 degrees. Okay. Like a surgeon. There we go. So this angle, I'm just going to put an arrow to it, is the 28.5 degrees. And that's all they give us. And they want to know how tall is the building. So they're looking for h. All right. Now, even though they're not asking for it, both of these triangles, there's two triangles here. Let me move the side of my building over a bit, just so I can show. So I'm pushing my building to the side a bit. There's my building. But I did it that way so my triangles won't be interrupted. Okay, so they both share this x on the bottom. I have two triangles. They both share that. So I'm going to use the law of sines, and then I'm going to solve for x for both of them and set them equal to each other. Okay, so from the law of sines, I know, well, first let's find my remaining angles. I know that this angle up here has to be 180 minus 90, because that's the right angle, minus 28.5. That's 61.5. And then there's this angle down here, and that's going to be 180 minus 90 minus 23.5. That's 66.5. All right, so using the law of sines, I can create some ratios here. I'm going to do this angle with h. Remember, you have to stay within your triangle. So within the smaller triangle, I have x over sine of 66.5 is equal to h over sine of 23.5. Okay, I'm trying to get rid of x, so I'm going to solve for it. So if I multiply both sides by 66.5, I have x is equal to h. Let me put this on first. Sine of 66.5 times h over sine of 23.5. So that's step one. Now I'm going to look at the larger triangle. And the larger triangle, same idea, except that what I'm sharing, there we go, changes a bit. So now with the larger angle, got to change this too. It's now going to be this angle. Its opposite side is all of this. And then I have the 61.5 and the x. So here, this is x plus 155 over, not x plus 155, my bad. I'm going to keep the x first. Sorry, let me do the yellow one first. X over sine of 61.5 is equal to, and now I have the h plus 155 over sine of 28.5. For the same reason, I can multiply both sides by sine of 61.5. And then I get h plus 155 over sine of 28.5. There we go. That's step one. Now these two things are equal to each other. So now I can set them equal to each other. For these problems, you have two unknowns, the x and the h. You set them equal to the variable that you want to go away. I don't care about how far away the point is. In the previous problem, I did. But in this problem, I don't care about that, so I solve for x. And this time, the h is what's left over. All right, so I set the two equations equal, give myself a lot of room. I have sine of 66.5 h over sine of 23.5 is equal to sine of 61.5 h plus 155 over sine of 28.5. And again, yes, I can just type this and this in the calculator, that and that in the calculator, and get some decimal. And so I have a decimal h equals a decimal h plus 155. But I'm going for an exact answer. And when you do that, you might get the right answer. I mean, you're going to get the right answer, but you lose sight of what's going on in the problem. Especially in physics, when you're doing that, you lose sight of what cancels, what doesn't cancel, and a lot of cool proofs that happen in physics. Well, anyway, cross multiply. So I have sine of 28.5, sine of 66.5, h, sine of 23.5, sine of 61.5, h plus 155. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get all of this, and I'm going to distribute it. All right, so sine of 23.5, sine of 61.5, h plus 155, sine of 23.5, sine of 61.5. Right, so now I want to get the h's on the same side. So I'm going to subtract all that stuff. Okay. That leaves us with almost done. All right, so we subtracted the two is equal to 155 sine of 23.5 sine of 61.5. Now I can factor out, they both have an h in common on the left. And so that's how you go from two h's to one h. So kind of resuming my work up here, I have h times all that. Patience. My cats are being frisky. It's really cute. Okay, equals that other side. Almost done. So equals 155 sine of 23.5 sine of 61.5. All right, so now the last step is to divide by all that junk. So, so your final answer is h is equal to 155 sine of 23.5 sine of 61.5, all divided by that stuff that was next to h, all of this. So I have sine of 28.5, sine of 66.5, sine of 23.5, sine of 61.5. There you go. So this is the exact answer. If you want to know exactly, assuming that the angle of elevations they gave us were accurate, then this is the exact height, like to the nearest millimeter of the tower. Now we type that in and we can get our approximation. Bear with me. Have you all seen the Disney Robin Hood? It's a classic. You should watch it. 155 sine 23.5 sine 61.5 divided by, again, open up the parentheses, sine of 28.5 sine of 66.5. By the way, in the 90s, that was one of the first memes. It was a website called Hamster Dance. And it was just a wallpaper. It was just a blank page with a wallpaper of hamsters, like cartoon hamsters jumping up and down. And the song was the song from that Robin Hood. And for some reason, we found that extremely funny. Okay, make sure I typed it in right. 155 sine 25 sine 75 divided by parentheses 28.5 sine 16.5 sine 23.5 sine 61.5. Hit enter. And did I do something wrong? Yeah. Oh, hold on. Let me go check. I think I typed something in wrong. I just got to find it. That's what I get for singing Hamster Dance. All right. So this time I won't sing as I do it. I just typed it in wrong. Okay. 155. I can't multitask, guys. 155 sine of 23.5. Close it. I didn't close one of the signs, so that's why everything got off. Sine is 61.5. Okay. I'm going to put that in parentheses. If you want to go back and add something, you press second delete, and that's the insert button. So you can add something in. So that's my numerator divided by, then my denominator, open parentheses, sine of 28.5, close it, sine of 66.5, close it, minus sine of 23.5, close it, sine of 61.5, close it, close it. There we go. So the height is 623.2. If they say round to the nearest foot, then it would be 623. All right, so there you go. And notice it's very similar to what we did. In the problem before, we were solving for x. In this problem, same idea, except we're solving for h. All right, hopefully you got it right and didn't make the calculator errors that I did. But other than that, y'all have a good one.